The summer sun beat down on the mountain road as three teenage boys rode their motorcycles through the winding Colorado highways. Jake was 17 and led the group on his black Yamaha. Behind him, Marcus, who was 16, rode a blue Kawasaki that his uncle had given him last year. Tyler brought up the rear on his red Honda, the oldest bike of the three but his pride and joy. They had been planning this trip for months. The Denver Summer Rally was the biggest motorcycle event in the state, and they had saved up money from their summer jobs to make the journey. Jake worked at a pizza place, Marcus mowed lawns in his neighborhood, and Tyler helped his dad with construction work on weekends. Every dollar went toward this trip. The mountain air was fresh and cool despite the heat. Pine trees lined both sides of the road, and occasionally they would pass a scenic overlook where they could see valleys stretching for miles. They had left early that morning from their small town 3 hours away, full of excitement and energy. Tyler felt the vibration in his handlebars first. It was a strange shaking that had not been there before. He frowned inside his helmet but kept riding. Maybe it was just the rough road surface. They were in the middle of nowhere with no houses or gas stations in sight for miles. Then came the smell. Something was burning. Tyler's heart sank as he noticed white smoke starting to pour from his engine. The other boys were ahead and had not noticed yet. Tyler tried to signal them, waving his arm, but they were too far ahead and focused on the road. The engine started making a horrible grinding noise, like metal scraping against metal. Tyler's stomach twisted with worry. He had checked everything before they left. The oil was full, the chain was tight, and everything seemed perfect. What was happening? Suddenly the engine seized completely. The back wheel locked up for a terrifying second before Tyler managed to pull in the clutch. The bike was dead, just coasting now on momentum alone. Tyler guided it to the side of the road and came to a stop on the gravel shoulder. No, 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 Tyler muttered as he took off his helmet. Smoke was still rising from the engine, and the smell of burnt oil filled his nose. This could not be happening, not now. Not in the middle of nowhere on the most important trip of their summer. Jake and Marcus finally noticed he was missing and turned around. They rode back quickly, their faces showing concern as they saw the smoke. What happened? Jake asked as he pulled off his helmet. His dark hair was messy and stuck to his forehead with sweat. I don't know, Tyler said, his voice frustrated. It just died. Started shaking, then smoking, then just stopped completely. Marcus knelt down next to the bike, trying to look like he knew what he was doing. He touched the engine and jerked his hand back immediately. It's really hot. Like really, really hot. Of course it's hot, genius, Jake said, rolling his eyes. The question is why? Tyler felt panic rising in his chest. This bike was everything to him. He had spent 2 years fixing it up with his dad, replacing parts, painting it, making it perfect. And now it was broken in the middle of nowhere. We should call someone, Marcus suggested, pulling out his phone. He looked at the screen and groaned. No signal. Anyone else? Jake and Tyler checked their phones. Nothing. They were in a dead zone, surrounded by mountains that blocked any cell tower signal. Great, Jake said sarcastically. Just perfect. We can fix it ourselves, Marcus said, though he did not sound confident. How hard can it be? Do you even know what's wrong with it? Tyler asked. Not exactly, but we can figure it out, Marcus replied. He walked around the bike like he was inspecting it, but Tyler could tell he had no idea what to look for. Jake was more practical. We need to call a tow truck when we get signal. Tyler, you stay here with the bike. Marcus and I will ride ahead until we find signal or a town. That could be hours, Tyler protested. And what if someone steals my bike while I'm sitting here alone? Who's going to steal a broken bike in the middle of nowhere? Jake asked. They continued arguing for several minutes, their voices getting louder and more frustrated. The sun was getting hotter and they were all tired, thirsty, and worried about missing the rally. None of them noticed the old pickup truck approaching until it was slowing down behind them. The truck was dusty and tan-colored, with scratches along the sides and a dent in the front bumper. It looked like it had seen many years of hard work. The truck pulled onto the shoulder behind the boys and stopped. The driver's door opened and a girl stepped out. She looked about 18 or 19 years old, with long dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She wore faded blue overalls covered in oil stains and grease marks. A worn baseball cap sat on her head and her hands already had oil under the fingernails. She was small, maybe 5 feet 3 inches, and thin. You guys need help? She asked. Her voice was quiet and calm. The three boys looked at each other. Jake raised an eyebrow. Marcus tried not to laugh. Tyler felt embarrassed that a girl was stopping to help them. "We're good," Jake said quickly. "Just having some engine trouble." "We can handle it." The girl did not leave. She walked closer to Tyler's bike, her eyes studying the smoke still rising from the engine. "Looks like more than just trouble. That's a seized engine." "We know what it is," Marcus said, though his tone made it clear he did not know at all. The girl ignored his attitude. She knelt down next to the bike, not caring about getting her overalls dirty on the dusty ground. She leaned close to the engine, sniffing the air, then looking at the oil dripping onto the road. "Oil pump failure," she said simply, standing back up. The pump stopped working, so the engine ran without oil. Everything overheated and seized up. That's why it locked. The boys stared at her. Tyler felt his face get hot. How did she know that just from looking at it for 10 seconds? "Are you a mechanic or something?" Marcus asked, his voice skeptical. "Something like that," the girl replied. She wiped her hands on her overalls, though they were already dirty. "My grandfather has a garage about 5 miles back down the road. I can tow the bike there and fix it if you want." Jake laughed, but it was not a friendly laugh. "No offense, but we don't need a girl to fix our bike. We can figure it out." The girl's expression did not change. She was not angry or insulted. She just looked at Jake calmly. "Okay, good luck getting a tow truck out here. Cell service doesn't work for another 20 miles, and the nearest town is 40 miles away. By the time you get help, it will be dark." She turned to walk back to her truck. Tyler felt torn. His pride said not to accept help from a girl who looked like she could barely lift his bike. But his common sense said they were stuck with no other options. "Wait," Tyler called out. The girl stopped and turned around. "What's your name?" "Sophia," she said. "I'm Tyler. This is Jake and Marcus," he said, pointing to his friends. They did not look happy. "How much would you charge to fix it?" "Parts and labor," Sophia said. "Probably $300, maybe less. Depends on what else is damaged." That was way less than a tow truck and a regular mechanic would cost. Tyler knew it was their best option, maybe their only option. "Okay," Tyler said. "Can you really fix it?" Sophia did not brag or try to convince him. She just nodded once. "I can fix it." Jake pulled Tyler aside. "Are you serious? We don't know this girl. What if she's trying to scam us? What choice do we have?" Tyler whispered back. "We're stuck out here. At least her offer sounds real." Marcus joined them. "I don't know, man. A girl mechanic? That seems weird." "Girls can be mechanics," Tyler said, though he did not sound completely convinced himself. "And she knew what was wrong with my bike immediately. That's more than we could figure out." After more whispered arguing, they agreed. They did not have any better ideas. Sophia backed her truck up to the bike. She pulled out ramps from the truck bed like she had done this 1,000 times before. The boys helped lift the bike, but Sophia did most of the work, showing them how to balance it properly on the ramps. "You guys can follow me in the truck," Sophia said as they secured the bike with straps. "Or ride your bikes. It's not far." Jake and Marcus decided to ride their bikes behind the truck. Tyler climbed into the passenger seat of Sophia's truck. The inside was clean but old, with a faded air freshener hanging from the mirror and a toolbox on the floor. As they drove down the mountain road, Tyler glanced at Sophia. She drove confidently, handling the truck with ease even with a motorcycle in the back. He wanted to say something but did not know what. Finally he asked, "Have you been fixing bikes for a long time?" "Since I was 6, Sophia replied, her eyes on the road. 6 years old?" Tyler repeated, surprised. "My grandfather taught me," she said. "He owns the garage." Tyler wanted to ask more questions, but something about Sophia's quiet manner made him stop. She was not unfriendly, but she clearly was not interested in small talk. They drove in silence for several minutes until Sophia turned off the main road onto a smaller dirt path. A sign ahead read Rodriguez Auto and Cycle Repair in faded letters. Tyler could see a small building ahead, old but well-maintained. Behind him, Jake and Marcus followed on their bikes, dust rising from their wheels. Tyler wondered if they were making a huge mistake trusting this strange girl they had just met on the side of the road. But as the garage came into view, Tyler noticed something that made him feel a bit better. The building was covered with old motorcycle posters and racing flags. Sophia walked to a large red toolbox against the wall and pulled out a socket wrench. She moved with quiet confidence, like someone who had done this work 1,000 times before. The boys stood awkwardly near the entrance, not sure what to do with themselves. The garage was larger inside than it looked from the outside. 2 other motorcycles sat in the corner, partially covered with tarps. Shelves lined the walls, filled with parts, oil containers, and equipment the boys did not recognize. Everything was organized perfectly. No mess, no clutter. Sophia rolled a small stool over to Tyler's bike and sat down. She started removing the side panel to access the engine. Her movements were quick and precise, her hands moving without hesitation. "So you really fix bikes by yourself?" Marcus asked, trying to sound casual but failing. His tone still carried doubt. Sophia did not look up from her work. "Yes, like by yourself without help?" Marcus continued. "Yes." Marcus looked at Jake and shrugged. Sophia was not much for conversation, apparently. Tyler felt uncomfortable with the silence. "How long have you worked here?" "My whole life, basically," Sophia replied. She removed another bolt and set it carefully in a small magnetic tray. "My grandfather taught me when I was little." "That's cool," Tyler said, meaning it. "My dad taught me some basic maintenance, but nothing like this. I can change oil and fix a chain, but that's about it." Sophia nodded but stayed focused on the bike. She was removing the engine cover now, exposing the internal parts. Even from where Tyler stood, he could see the damage. Parts that should have been silver were black and burnt. Something that looked like it should spin freely was locked tight. "This is bad," Sophia said quietly, more to herself than to the boys. The oil pump completely failed. No warning, just stopped working. All the metal parts rubbed together with no lubrication. She pointed to a specific part. "See this? This should be smooth. Now it is rough like sandpaper." Jake stepped closer, his curiosity finally overcoming his skepticism. "Can you actually fix that?" "I need to replace the oil pump, this gasket, and clean all the carbon buildup," Sophia explained. She pointed to different parts as she spoke. "Also need to check the cylinder walls for scoring. If they are damaged too badly, we need to replace the whole engine block." "How much would that cost?" Tyler asked, his voice worried. "A lot," Sophia admitted. "But let me check first. Maybe we get lucky." She continued working, removing more parts and laying them out in organized rows on a clean towel. The boys watched in silence now, impressed despite themselves. Sophia worked like a surgeon, every movement deliberate and careful. After about 15 minutes, Sophia stood up and walked to a parts washer in the corner. She started cleaning components, scrubbing away oil and grime. The boys noticed her hands were completely black now, covered in grease and engine oil. "You do not mind getting dirty?" Marcus observed. Sophia glanced at her hands and shrugged. "It washes off." Jake walked over to the wall and looked at the motorcycle posters. They were old, some from the 1970s and 1980s, showing classic racing bikes and famous riders. One poster showed a woman on a racing bike, leaning into a turn at incredible speed. "Your grandfather likes racing?" Jake asked. "He used to race when he was younger," Sophia said from across the garage. "In Mexico before he moved here. He was pretty good. What about you?" Tyler asked. "Do you ride?" Sophia paused for just a second. So brief the boys almost missed it. "Sometimes, just sometimes." Marcus pressed. "If I could fix bikes like you, I would ride all the time." "It is complicated," Sophia said, her voice suddenly quieter. She returned to the bike with clean parts and started reassembling sections. Tyler sensed they had touched on something sensitive. He decided to change the subject. "So what town is this near?" "We did not see a name on the main road." "This is not really a town," Sophia explained. "Just a few houses spread out. The actual town is 10 miles south. That is where my grandfather went to get part." "Do you live here?" Jake asked, looking around. "Like in the garage?" "There is a house next door," Sophia said. "We live there." "This is just the shop." The boys relaxed a bit. At least this was not some random garage in the middle of nowhere. These people actually lived here, ran a real business. Sophia worked for another 30 minutes in focused silence. The boys tried to make conversation a few times, but Sophia only gave short answers. She was not rude, just completely absorbed in her work. Finally, Tyler asked, "Can we help with anything?" Sophia looked up, surprised. "You want to help?" "Yeah," Tyler said. "I mean, it is my bike. I should probably learn something." Sophia considered this, then nodded. "Okay, come here." Tyler walked over and Sophia pointed to the parts she had laid out. "These need to be cleaned. Use this brush and this solvent. Scrub until all the black carbon comes off." Tyler took the brush and started working. The solvent smelled strong and chemical, making his eyes water slightly, but he kept scrubbing. Marcus and Jake came over to watch. "You can help too," Sophia said to them. She pointed to another set of parts. "Same thing. Clean everything." Soon all three boys were working alongside Sophia. She gave them simple tasks while she handled the more complex repairs. As they worked, the atmosphere changed. The boys stopped treating Sophia like a stranger they did not trust and started treating her like a fellow mechanic, even though her skill was obviously much higher than theirs. "Why is there so much carbon?" Marcus asked as he scrubbed a particularly dirty part. "Carbon builds up when the engine runs hot," Sophia explained. She was examining a cylinder with a small flashlight looking for damage. "Also happens when oil is old or low quality. This bike has been running too hot for a while, probably weeks. The oil pump failure was just the final problem." Tyler felt guilty. "I should have noticed something was wrong." "Maybe," Sophia said. "But sometimes things fail without warning. That is why regular maintenance is important." "When did you last change the oil?" Tyler thought back. "Maybe 3 months ago." Sophia nodded. "Should be every month if you ride a lot. Or every 1,000 miles, whichever comes first." "I did not know that," Tyler admitted. "Now you do," Sophia said simply. She set down the cylinder and smiled slightly. "Good news. The walls are okay. No scoring. We just need the new oil pump and gasket." Tyler felt relief wash over him. "So my engine is not completely destroyed?" "Not completely," Sophia confirmed. "You got lucky. Another mile or two and the whole engine would have been garbage." Jake laughed. "Good timing to break down, I guess." "Very good timing," Sophia agreed. She looked at Tyler. "And good luck that I drove by." "Yeah," Tyler said. And he meant it. "Really good luck. Thank you for stopping." Sophia shrugged like it was nothing. "I would want someone to help me if I was stuck." Marcus held up a part he had been cleaning. "Is this clean enough?" Sophia examined it and nodded. "Perfect. You are learning." The boys continued working under Sophia's direction. She explained what each part did, why it was important, and how to tell if it was damaged. Tyler was surprised by how much he was learning. Sophia was a good teacher when she chose to talk, patient and clear. After a while, Jake asked, "Do you go to school around here?" "I graduated last year," Sophia said. "Now I just work here full-time. Do you want to do this forever?" Marcus asked. "Like run the garage?" Sophia was quiet for a moment, her hands still working. "I do not know what I want forever. Right now this is enough." There was something sad in her voice, something the boys noticed but did not understand. Tyler wanted to ask more questions, but again, something told him not to push. They worked in comfortable silence for a while. The garage was getting warmer as the afternoon sun heated the metal roof. Sophia pulled off her baseball cap and wiped sweat from her forehead, then put the cap back on. Jake noticed a photo on the wall near the tool bench. It showed Miguel standing with his arm around a woman in racing leathers. She was young, maybe in her 20s, and holding a helmet. Behind them was a racing motorcycle with the number 7 painted on it. "Who is that?" Jake asked, pointing. Sophia glanced at the photo. Her expression changed, becoming more guarded. "That is my grandfather with my sister, Elena." "Is she a racer?" Jake asked excitedly. "That is so cool. Does she race professionally?" Sophia set down the wrench she was holding very carefully. "She died 3 years ago. Car accident." The garage became completely silent. The boys froze, horrified by the sudden revelation. Jake's face turned red with embarrassment. "I am so sorry," Jake stammered. "I did not know." "I should not have asked," Sophia shook her head. "It is okay. You did not know." She picked up the wrench again and returned to work, but her movements were slightly less fluid now, slightly more mechanical. Tyler felt terrible. Here they were in this girl's garage, and they had just made her talk about her dead sister. "I am really sorry for your loss," he said quietly. "Thank you," Sophia replied. She did not look at them. Marcus, trying to help, asked, "Was it just your sister? Or—" Sophia's jaw tightened slightly. "My parents too. Same accident. I was the only one who survived." The boys looked at each other, shocked and uncomfortable. How were they supposed to respond to that? What could they possibly say? Tyler noticed details he had missed before. On the wall there were actually several photos of the woman, Elena, on racing bikes. In one, she was holding a trophy. In another, she was laughing with Miguel. The boys rode for about 10 minutes before Jake signaled for them to pull over at a scenic overlook. The sun was setting now, painting the mountains in shades of orange and purple. They parked their bikes and took off their helmets. That was intense, Marcus said, running his hand through his sweaty hair. Yeah, Jake agreed. He walked to the edge of the overlook and looked out at the valley below. I feel like we should talk about what just happened. Tyler joined him at the railing. What do you mean? I mean Sophia, Jake said. That girl just rebuilt your entire engine in a few hours. And she is what, 18? 19? She graduated high school last year, Marcus said, pulling up his phone. He frowned at the screen. Still no signal. We should take photos, though. This view is incredible. But Tyler was not interested in photos. He was thinking about Sophia, about the way she worked with such focus and skill, about her sad story and her quiet strength. She was amazing, he said simply. More than amazing, Jake said. Did you see how she just knew what was wrong? Like instantly? I have been riding bikes for 3 years and I would not have known where to start. Marcus sat on his bike seat and pulled out a granola bar from his backpack, and her grandfather just left her alone to do the whole job. He trusts her completely. Can you imagine being that good at something? Tyler asked. Like to have that much skill at our age? Jake turned around and leaned against the railing. She said motorcycles helped her deal with her grief. That is what her grandfather told us too. She just threw herself into learning everything about bikes after her family died. That is so sad, Marcus said quietly. Losing your whole family except one person. I cannot even imagine. Tyler thought about his own family. His parents drove him crazy sometimes, always nagging him about college and his future. His little brother annoyed him constantly, but he loved them, and the thought of losing them made his chest feel tight. We were jerks to her at first, Jake said, shaking his head, acting like she could not possibly know what she was doing just because she is a girl. I know, Tyler said, feeling guilty again. She proved us wrong pretty fast. She did not even get mad about it, Marcus observed. She just let her skills speak for themselves. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the sunset. A cool breeze came up from the valley, bringing the smell of pine trees and fresh air. Should we still go to Denver? Marcus asked suddenly. Tyler looked at him in surprise. What? Of course we should go. That is the whole point of this trip. I know, but we are going to get there really late now, Marcus said. We will miss half the first day, and I kind of feel like the important part of this trip already happened. Jake nodded slowly. I know what you mean. Meeting Sophia, watching her work, hearing her story, that felt more real than any rally. But we planned this for months, Tyler protested. We saved money, got time off work, everything. True, Jake admitted. And we should go. I am just saying that today was special. That is all, Tyler had to agree. Today had been special. They had started the morning as 3 teenage boys on a fun road trip. Now they felt different somehow. More humble, more aware of how much they did not know. Do you think Sophia will be okay? Marcus asked. I mean, she seems okay now, but 3 years is not that long after losing your whole family. Her grandfather takes care of her, Jake said. And she has the garage. Work she loves, but is that enough? Marcus wondered. She is so young. She should be out having fun. Going to college, hanging out with friends. Instead, she is alone in a garage fixing other people's bikes. Tyler had wondered the same thing. Sophia seemed lonely even with her grandfather nearby. She had been kind to them but also guarded, like she was protecting herself from getting too close to anyone. Maybe fixing bikes is what she needs right now, Tyler said. Maybe that is how she is healing. Maybe, Jake said doubtfully. Or maybe she is hiding from life. They continued talking as the sky grew darker. Eventually they decided they should keep riding. Denver was still 2 hours away and they wanted to get there before it got too late. As they rode through the mountain darkness, Tyler kept thinking about Sophia, about her oil-stained overalls and her quiet confidence, about the way she explained things clearly and patiently, about the sadness in her eyes when she talked about her sister. He realized he wanted to see her again. Not just to thank her for fixing his bike, but to know she was okay. To maybe become her friend if she would let him. But that was impossible. After tonight, they probably would never see her again. She lived in the middle of nowhere and they lived 3 hours away. Their worlds had touched briefly and now they were separating again. Tyler felt sad about that. Really sad. They reached Denver around 9 o'clock at night. The rally grounds were lit up with lights and filled with motorcycles and people. Music played from speakers and food vendors lined the streets. Despite the late hour, the party was still going strong. The boys found a place to park and walked into the rally. It should have been exciting. This was what they had been waiting for all summer. But somehow it felt less important now. "This is amazing," Marcus said, trying to sound enthusiastic. "Look at all these bikes." "Yeah," Jake agreed, but his voice was flat. "Amazing." They wandered through the rally looking at custom bikes and watching a motorcycle stunt show. They bought food from a taco truck and found a spot to sit and eat. Around them, thousands of people laughed and talked and enjoyed themselves. But the boys felt separate from it all, like they were watching it happen instead of being part of it. "Are you guys thinking about Sophia too?" Tyler asked finally. "Yes," Marcus admitted. "I keep wondering what she is doing right now. Probably working on another bike. Or maybe having dinner with her grandfather," Jake suggested, talking about her day. "She fixed a bike for 3 stupid teenagers who did not trust her at first," Marcus said with a weak laugh. "What a day." Tyler pulled out his phone and looked at his photos. He had taken one picture of his bike in Sophia's garage while she worked on it. He zoomed in on the image. Sophia was in the background, bent over the engine, her face focused and serious. "I wish we had gotten her number or something," Tyler said, "so we could at least thank her properly later." "Her grandfather has a shop," Jake said. "We could probably find it online." Marcus pulled out his phone and started searching. "What was the name? Rodriguez Auto something?" "Rodriguez Auto and Cycle Repair," Tyler said. "But I do not think they are going to be online." That place looked pretty old school. Marcus searched anyway. After a few minutes, he shook his head. Nothing. No website, no social media, not even a Google listing. "They probably get all their business from locals and word of mouth," Jake said. "So we have no way to contact her," Tyler said, disappointed. "We could drive back there after the rally," Marcus suggested. "It is only a few hours away." "That seems weird," Jake said. "Like we are stalking her or something?" "We are just thanking her," Marcus protested. "By driving 3 hours to show up at her garage uninvited?" Jake raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, that is definitely weird." Tyler knew Jake was right, but he still wished there was a way to stay in touch with Sophia. She had helped them so much, and he wanted to return the favor somehow. They spent the rest of the evening at the rally, but their hearts were not in it. They went back to their cheap hotel around midnight and collapsed into their beds, exhausted from the long day. Tyler lay awake for a while, thinking. He thought about his bike breaking down, which had seemed like the worst possible thing at the time. But if his bike had not broken down, they never would have met Sophia. They never would have learned what they learned or felt what they felt. Sometimes bad luck leads to good things, he thought. Sometimes getting stuck is exactly what you need. He fell asleep thinking about oil-stained overalls in quiet, confidence and the sad smile of a girl who had lost everything, but kept going anyway. The next morning, the boys woke up late and rushed to get to the rally. The second day featured races and competitions, and they wanted good viewing spots. They spent the day watching skilled riders compete on a dirt track course. The bikes flew through the air over jumps, skidded around tight corners, and raced at incredible speeds. It was exciting and impressive. But Tyler kept comparing the riders to Sophia. Could she ride like this? She had said she rode sometimes, which seemed like an understatement for someone so skilled with motorcycles. Her sister had been a racer. Had Sophia inherited that talent too? During a break between races, the boys sat in the stands eating lunch. Jake was scrolling through his phone when he suddenly sat up straight. "Guys, look at this," he said, turning his phone to show them. The screen displayed a forum post from a motorcycle website. The title read, "Anyone know who the ghost is?" "The ghost?" Marcus asked. "What is that?" "Read it," Jake said. Tyler leaned over to read the post. It was from someone asking about a mysterious rider who had been appearing at underground time trials and small races across Colorado and nearby states. The rider wore a plain black helmet and all black gear, never spoke to anyone, never gave a name, and disappeared immediately after racing. "Why is it called the Ghost?" Tyler asked. "Keep reading," Jake said. The post explained that the rider had earned the nickname because they appeared and disappeared like a ghost. Nobody knew who they were, male or female, young or old. Over the next few weeks, Tyler stayed in touch with Sophia through text messages. At first, the conversations were short and simple. He would ask how she was doing, and she would reply that work was busy. She would ask about his job, and he would complain about carrying heavy materials in the summer heat. But gradually, the conversations became longer and more personal. Sophia started sharing pictures of interesting bikes that came into the garage. Tyler sent her photos of sunsets from construction sites. Marcus and Jake joined a group chat with Sophia, and the four of them talked about motorcycles, music, and random topics that teenagers care about. Tyler learned that Sophia liked old rock music because her father used to play it in the garage. She hated coffee but loved hot chocolate. She had never been to a concert or a school dance. She read mystery novels before bed. Small details that made her feel more real, more human, more like a friend. One evening, about 3 weeks after the time trial, Sophia sent a message to the group chat that surprised them all. There is a bigger race in 2 weeks, in New Mexico. Prize money is $5,000. I am thinking about entering. Tyler immediately called her. Sophia answered on the third ring. $5,000, Tyler said. That is serious money. Is this like a professional thing? Semi-professional, Sophia explained. It is not official racing with major sponsors, but it is bigger than the underground events. More riders, more spectators, actual prize money. That sounds amazing, Tyler said. Why are you nervous about it? There was a long pause. Because it is public. Really public. People film these races and post them online. If I do well, people will know my name. My grandfather will definitely find out. You have to tell him eventually, Tyler said gently. Don't you want him to see how talented you are? He knows I am talented at fixing bikes, Sophia replied. That makes him proud. But racing scares him. After what happened to Elena, to my parents, he just wants me to be safe. But you are safe, Tyler argued. You wear proper gear. You race on closed courses with medical staff present. You are not being reckless, I know that, Sophia said. But I am not sure he will see it that way. Tyler thought for a moment. What if we went with you? To the race, I mean. Would that help? What do you mean? I mean Jake, Marcus, and I could ride down to New Mexico with you. Be there to support you. And afterward, if you decide to tell your grandfather, we could help explain. Like character witnesses or something. Sophia laughed. Character witnesses? This is not a court trial. You know what I mean, Tyler said, smiling. We could tell him how seriously you take safety. How skilled you are. How much racing means to you. You would really do that? Sophia asked, her voice softer now. Drive all the way to New Mexico just to watch me race? Absolutely, Tyler said. You helped us when we needed it. Now let us help you. Sophia was quiet for so long that Tyler thought she might have hung up. Then she said, Okay. Yes, thank you. They spent the next week planning. The race was in a small town in northern New Mexico, about 4 hours from Sophia's garage. They would leave early in the morning, race in the afternoon, and drive home that evening. Tyler told his parents he was going on another motorcycle trip with friends. His mom worried, but his dad understood. Boys need adventures, his dad said, handing Tyler some extra money for gas. Jake and Marcus got permission from their parents, too. The three of them met at Jake's house the morning of the race, checking their bikes and packing water and snacks. They rode to Sophia's garage, arriving just after sunrise. Miguel was already there, working on a truck engine. He looked up in surprise when the three boys rode in. Tyler, Marcus, Jake, he said warmly. Good to see you boys again. What brings you here? Before they could answer, Sophia came out of the house wearing her riding gear and carrying her helmet. Miguel's eyes narrowed. Sophia, where are you going? Sophia took a deep breath. This was the moment she had been dreading. There is a race today, Grandpa. In New Mexico. I am going to compete. Miguel's face went through several emotions. Surprise, confusion, fear, and finally something like resignation. A race? He repeated. What kind of race? A motorcycle race, Sophia said quietly. I have been racing for 2 years now, Grandpa. Small events, time trials, underground competitions. I am good at it. Really good. Miguel looked at the boys, then back at Sophia. 2 years? You have been racing for 2 years and never told me. I knew you would worry, Sophia said. After Elena, after everything, I knew you would try to stop me. Miguel walked over to his granddaughter. Tyler expected him to yell or forbid her from going. Instead, Miguel cupped Sophia's face in his weathered hands. Mija, I already knew, he said gently. Sophia's eyes went wide. What? You think I do not notice when you take your racing bike out late at night? When you come home with medals you hide in your room? When people come to the shop talking about a mysterious rider called the Ghost who looks and rides like my granddaughter? Sophia seemed stunned. You knew? This whole time? This whole time, Miguel confirmed. I was waiting for you to tell me yourself. Why did you not say anything? Sophia asked, her voice breaking. Because you needed this to be yours, Miguel said. After everything you lost, you needed something that was just for you. Something I did not teach you. Something separate from your grief and your memories. So I waited. I worried every day, but I waited. Sophia hugged her grandfather tightly. Tyler saw tears running down her face. I am sorry I lied to you. You did not lie, Miguel said. You just kept a secret. That is different. He pulled back and looked at her seriously. But now you race under your real name, yes? No more hiding. If you are going to do this, you do it honestly. Yes, Sophia promised. No more hiding. Miguel looked at the three boys. And you boys? You are going with her? Yes, sir, Jake said. To support her. Miguel nodded approvingly. Good. She should have friends with her. People who care about her. He turned back to Sophia. But you will be careful, yes? Proper gear, no unnecessary risks? Always, Grandpa, Sophia said. I promise, Miguel kissed her forehead. Then go, race. Make your sister proud. Sophia and the boys rode south together, 4 motorcycles in a line on the highway. Tyler rode behind Sophia, watching her custom racing bike gleam in the morning sunlight. She rode with confidence, taking curves smoothly and maintaining a steady speed. They stopped once for gas and food. Sophia was quiet, focused on what was ahead. The boys tried to keep the mood light, making jokes and talking about nothing important, but they could all feel the tension building. This was not a small underground event. This was a real race with real competition and real consequences. They arrived at the race location around noon. It was held at a private dirt track owned by someone in the motorcycle community. The track was professional quality with proper safety barriers, medical tents, and viewing areas. About 200 people were already there, some competing, others watching. Sophia registered and received a number to wear on her bike, 73. There were over 40 riders competing in her division, the amateur lightweight class. The top 3 finishers would win prize money. That is a lot of competition, Marcus observed nervously. I can handle it, Sophia said, but Tyler noticed her hands shaking slightly as she prepared her bike. The races started at 1 o'clock. Different divisions competed throughout the afternoon, with Sophia's class scheduled for 3:30. The boys watched other races to understand the track layout and judge the competition level. The riders were good. Much better than at the small-time trial events. These were serious amateur racers, some probably on the edge of going professional. They rode aggressively, taking risks, pushing their bikes to the limit. These guys are intense, Jake said quietly. Sophia can beat them, Tyler said, trying to sound confident. I hope so, Marcus replied. At 3:15, the announcer called for the lightweight amateur division to prepare. Sophia put on her helmet and wheeled her bike to the staging area. The boys wished her luck and found a spot along the track where they could watch. Tyler's heart was pounding. He realized how much he wanted Sophia to do well, not just because she was skilled or because they were friends, but because he wanted her to prove something to herself, to her grandfather, to everyone who had doubted her. The race format was simple. All 43 riders would start together and complete 8 laps of the track. First across the finish line wins. No time trials, no second chances. Just one race that would determine everything. The riders lined up at the starting gate. Sophia was in the 3rd row because of her registration number. Some riders around her looked at her small frame and custom bike with curiosity. A few seemed dismissive, probably assuming she would not be serious competition. They were about to learn otherwise. The starting light turned yellow. Engines revved. The tension was unbearable. Green light. The entire pack exploded forward in a roar of engines and dust. Tyler lost sight of Sophia immediately in the chaos of 43 motorcycles jostling for position into the first turn. The first lap was chaotic. Riders fought for position, cutting each other off, taking risky lines through corners. 2 riders crashed in the second turn, their bikes tumbling into the safety barriers. They were okay but out of the race. By the end of the first lap, the pack had spread out significantly. The fastest riders had pulled ahead, creating a lead group of about 10 bikes. 3 months passed quickly after Sophia's victory in New Mexico. Summer faded into fall, and the boys returned to school for their senior year. Tyler balanced his classes with weekend construction work. Jake continued at the pizza place and applied to colleges. Marcus started playing on the school soccer team and discovered he was actually pretty good. But even with busy schedules, they stayed in constant contact with Sophia. The group chat was active almost every day. Sophia would send photos of interesting bikes at the garage, funny stories about customers, and occasional updates about her racing. She had called the talent scout and joined the professional development program. It started slowly, just attending a few training sessions and learning proper racing techniques from experienced coaches. But Sophia was a quick learner, and the coaches quickly realized how naturally talented she was. "They want me to compete in my first professional race next month," Sophia texted the group one evening in late October. "It is a regional championship race. Much bigger than anything I have done before. That is amazing." Marcus replied immediately. "Are you nervous?" Jake asked. "Terrified," Sophia admitted. "What if I'm not ready? What if I fail in front of hundreds of people?" Tyler called her instead of texting. Sophia answered right away. "You are not going to fail," Tyler said firmly. "You have beaten everyone you have raced against so far." "Why would this be different?" "Because these are professionals," Sophia explained. "People who race for a living. I am just a mechanic who races for fun." "You are not just anything," Tyler said. "You are Sofia Rodriguez. You rebuilt my entire engine in a few hours. You won your division against 42 competitors. You have been racing since you could barely reach the handlebars. You belong in this race." Sophia was quiet for a moment. "Thank you. I needed to hear that. When is the race?" Tyler asked. "November 15th. It is in Arizona, about 6 hours from here." "We will be there," Tyler said without hesitation. "You do not have to come," Sophia protested. "I know you guys have school and jobs." "We will be there," Tyler repeated. "All 3 of us. That is what friends do." Sophia's voice got softer. "I do not know what I did to deserve friends like you guys." "You fixed my bike when I was stranded," Tyler said. "You taught us humility. You showed us what real strength looks like. That is what you did." After they hung up, Tyler texted Jake and Marcus about the race. They both agreed immediately. They would take that Friday off school, drive to Arizona, watch Sophia race, and drive back Sunday. Their parents would not be thrilled about missing school, but they would handle it. The next few weeks, Sophia's training intensified. She sent them videos of practice runs asking for feedback on her lines through certain corners, or her speed on straightaways. The boys knew nothing about professional racing techniques, but they always responded with encouragement and enthusiasm. Tyler noticed that Sophia seemed different in her messages now. More confident, but also more vulnerable. She shared her fears and insecurities in ways she never had before. She talked about missing her sister, about wishing her parents could see her race, about being scared that she was chasing Elena's dream instead of her own. "What if I am only doing this because of Elena?" Sophia asked in a late-night phone call about a week before the race. "What if I am just trying to be her instead of being me?" "Are you happy when you race?" Tyler asked. "Yes, completely happy. Like nothing else in the world matters." "Then it does not matter why you started," Tyler said. "What matters is that it is real for you now. Your happiness, your skill, your dream. Not Elena's, yours." Sophia was quiet, thinking. "You are pretty wise for a 17-year-old construction worker." Tyler laughed. "I have my moments." The week before the race, Sophia came to visit their town for the first time. She had some free time and wanted to hang out outside of the garage environment. The boys were excited to show her their world. They met at a local diner on Saturday afternoon. Sophia arrived wearing jeans and a plain t-shirt, her hair down instead of in her usual ponytail. Tyler almost did not recognize her without grease stains on her clothes. "You look different," Marcus said when she walked up. "No oil and dirt," Sophia joked. "I clean up occasionally." They got a booth and ordered food. The conversation flowed easily. Sophia asked about their school, their jobs, their families. She seemed genuinely interested in their ordinary teenage lives. It is weird, Sophia admitted. I graduated high school last year, but I feel like I missed the whole experience. I never went to football games or dances or parties. I just worked in the garage and went home. You did not miss that much, Jake said. Most of high school is pretty boring. But you have memories, Sophia said. Friends and experiences. I just have work. You have racing now, Tyler pointed out. And us, we are your friends, Sophia smiled. True. I guess I'm making up for lost time. After lunch, they walked around town showing Sophia their school, their favorite hangout spots, the park where they used to ride bikes when they were kids. It was a small town with not much to do, but Sophia seemed to enjoy seeing it through their eyes. That evening, they built a fire in Jake's backyard and sat around it talking. The night was cool and they wore hoodies and jackets. Sophia sat between Tyler and Marcus staring into the flames. I am really nervous about this race, Sophia admitted quietly. I keep having dreams where I crash or my bike breaks down or I finish last and everyone laughs. Those are just anxiety dreams, Marcus said. I get them before soccer games all the time. But what if they come true? Sophia asked. Then you get back up and try again. Tyler said simply. That is what you do, right? When something breaks, you fix it. When you fall, you get back up. You have done it your whole life. Sophia nodded but did not look convinced. Jake threw another log on the fire, sending sparks spiraling into the dark sky. Can I tell you guys something? Sophia asked. Something I have never told anyone? Of course, all three boys said at once. Sophia took a deep breath. Sometimes I feel guilty. For surviving when my family did not. For being happy when they are gone. For having dreams and goals when theirs were all cut short. Her voice cracked slightly. Elena should be the one racing professionally. Not me. She was the talented one, the brave one. I am just the little sister who happened to survive. Tyler did not know what to say. The pain in Sophia's voice was so raw, so honest. He wanted to find the perfect words to make it better. But he knew there were no perfect words for grief this deep. Can I tell you what I think? Marcus said quietly. I think surviving is not something you should feel guilty about. It is something you should honor. You are alive, Sophia. You get to have dreams and goals and happiness, not instead of your family, but because of them. They loved you. They would want you to live fully, not spend your life feeling guilty. Marcus is right, Jake added. Your sister was chasing her dream of racing, and now you are too. That is not copying her. That is continuing her legacy, keeping her spirit alive through your own journey. Sophia wiped tears from her eyes. I never thought about it that way. Your family gave you everything they could before they died, Tyler said. Your grandfather taught you mechanics. Your sister inspired your love of racing. Your parents gave you life and love. Now you get to take all of that and build something beautiful. That is not betraying them. That is honoring them. Sophia nodded, crying harder now but smiling too. Thank you. I really needed to hear that. They sat around the fire for hours, talking and laughing and occasionally falling into comfortable silence. By the time Sophia left to drive back home, she seemed lighter somehow, like she had put down a weight she had been carrying for too long. The week passed slowly. Tyler struggled to focus in school, his mind constantly drifting to the upcoming race. He checked his phone obsessively for updates from Sophia. She sent occasional messages about her preparation, her nervousness, her determination to do her best. Finally, Friday arrived. Tyler, Marcus, and Jake met at 5 in the morning and started the long drive to Arizona. They took Tyler's dad's truck since it could fit all three of them comfortably for the 6-hour drive. They arrived at the racetrack around noon. It was much bigger than the track in New Mexico. Proper grandstands, professional timing equipment, sponsor banners everywhere. This was a serious racing event with serious competitors. They found Sophia in the pit area working on her bike. She looked focused but calm, like she had found her center after the anxiety of the previous weeks. "You made it," Sophia said when she saw them, her face breaking into a genuine smile. "We told you we would be here," Tyler said. "How are you feeling?" "Ready," Sophia said. Nervous but ready. Miguel was there too, helping Sophia with last-minute adjustments. He greeted the boys warmly and thanked them for coming to support his granddaughter. "She needs good friends today," Miguel said quietly. "This is big for her." The race was scheduled for 3 o'clock. Sophia's division had 24 riders, all experienced and skilled. Looking around at the competition, Tyler felt his own nervousness increase. These riders looked intimidating with their professional gear and sponsored bikes. But Sophia seemed unfazed. She went through her pre-race routine calmly, checking everything twice, visualizing the track, staying focused. At 2:30, the riders gathered for a pre-race meeting. 6 months later, spring arrived in Colorado with warm sunshine and blooming wildflowers. Tyler, Marcus, and Jake were finishing their senior year of high school, preparing for graduation and thinking about what came next. But they always made time to follow Sophia's racing career, which had taken off faster than anyone expected. After accepting the sponsorship from Thunder Racing Team, Sophia had competed in 6 professional races. She won 3, placed second in 2, and had 1 mechanical failure that forced her to drop out. Her results were impressive enough that bigger teams were starting to notice. The boys watched her races whenever they could, either in person if they were close enough, or through live streams online. Each race, Sophia seemed more confident, more skilled, more comfortable in the professional racing world. But they also noticed something else. In her texts and phone calls, Sophia seemed tired. The pressure of professional racing, the travel, the constant training, the expectations from sponsors, it was taking a toll. "I miss just working in the garage with my grandfather," Sophia admitted during a phone call with Tyler in early May. "Racing used to be my escape. Now it feels like work." "Is it still fun?" Tyler asked. "Sometimes," Sophia said. "When I am actually on the bike racing, it is still incredible. But everything around it, all the business stuff, the media, the sponsor obligations, that part is exhausting." "You do not have to do it if you do not want to," Tyler reminded her. "You could go back to just working at the garage. There is no shame in that." "I know," Sophia said, "but I also do not want to quit. I want to prove I can do this. I want to make my grandfather proud. Make Elena proud. Does that make sense?" "It makes perfect sense," Tyler said. "Just remember that they are already proud of you. You do not have to prove anything to anyone." A few weeks later, Sophia called with big news. She had been invited to compete in the National Championship Series, a prestigious racing circuit with only 36 riders selected from across the entire country. It was the highest level of racing before going fully professional. "This is huge," Sophia said, her voice a mix of excitement and terror. "If I do well in the championship series, I could get offers from major professional teams. Real teams with big budgets and top equipment. That is incredible," Tyler said. "When does it start?" "The first race is in 3 weeks. In California, 3 weeks." Tyler looked at his calendar. That was right after graduation. "Perfect timing. We will be there," Tyler said immediately. "You do not have to come to every race," Sophia protested. "I know you guys have your own lives." "Sophia, we are coming," Tyler said firmly. "We have been to almost all your races so far. We are not going to miss the biggest one yet." The graduation ceremony was held on a warm Saturday afternoon in late May. Tyler walked across the stage, received his diploma, and felt a strange mix of relief and sadness. High school was over. Childhood was officially ending. Whatever came next would be different. After the ceremony, Tyler's family had a small celebration at their house. His parents gave him a card with money inside and told him they were proud. His little brother gave him a hard time about becoming an adult. It was nice but felt anticlimactic somehow. That evening, Tyler, Marcus, and Jake met at their usual spot in the park. They sat on the swings, which were ridiculously small now that they were grown, and talked about the future. I got into State University, Jake announced, starting in the fall. Business major. That is great, Marcus said. I am going to community college for 2 years, then transferring. Still not sure what I want to study. They both looked at Tyler. I am taking a gap year, Tyler said. Going to work full-time with my dad's construction company. Save money. Figure out what I actually want to do. His friends nodded, accepting this without judgment. A year ago, Tyler had thought he needed to go straight to college like everyone expected. But watching Sophia pursue her passion had made him realize he did not have to follow the standard path. He could take time to figure things out. We are going to California for Sophia's race, right? Marcus asked. Absolutely, Tyler confirmed. I already got the time off work. My mom is not thrilled about me driving to California right after graduation, Jake admitted. But I convinced her it is important. It is important, Tyler said. Sophia needs us there. The following week, the boys made the long drive to California. The race was held at a famous track near Los Angeles, a place where professional riders competed regularly. Just walking into the facility felt intimidating. They found Sophia in the pit area looking stressed and overwhelmed. The Thunder Racing team had a professional setup with mechanics, coaches, and equipment everywhere. Sophia seemed small and out of place among all the activity. Hey, Tyler said, approaching carefully. How are you doing? Sophia looked up and her face showed relief when she saw them. You came. I was hoping you would make it. Of course we came, Marcus said. We would not miss this. Sophia led them away from the busy pit area to a quieter spot. I am freaking out, she admitted. Look at this competition. These are the best amateur and semi-pro riders in the country, and I'm just a girl from a small garage in Colorado. You are also a championship winner who dominated every race she entered, Jake reminded her. Stop underestimating yourself. The pressure is different here, Sophia said. My team expects me to place in the top 10. The sponsors want good results. Everyone is watching, Tyler understood. This was not just about racing anymore. Sophia had obligations, expectations, people depending on her performance. The joy of just riding had been complicated by all this other stuff. Do you want to race today? Tyler asked gently. Sophia looked surprised by the question. What do you mean? I mean, do you want to get on that bike and compete? Forget about the sponsors and the team and the rankings. Deep down, do you want to race? Sophia thought about it. Yes, when I think about just riding, just competing, yes. I want to race, then do that, Tyler said. Forget everything else. Just ride like you always have, free, focused, for yourself. Sophia took a deep breath and nodded. Okay, you are right. I need to stop overthinking this. The race was scheduled for 2 in the afternoon. 36 riders, 3 laps on a long and technical course. The top 10 finishers would earn points toward the championship series. The competition was fierce, with riders from professional development programs all across the country. Sophia drew starting position 23, near the back of the pack. Not ideal, but she had overcome worse positions before. The boys found seats in the grandstand. The crowd was enormous. Thousands of people gathered to watch the best young riders in the nation compete. Tyler felt his stomach twist with nervousness. This was bigger than anything Sophia had done before. The race started with the usual chaos of 36 bikes fighting for position. Tyler lost sight of Sophia immediately. The first lap was a nightmare of crashes and aggressive riding. 5 riders went down in various accidents, though thankfully none were seriously hurt. By the end of lap 1, Sophia had moved up to 15th place. She had navigated the chaos successfully and was positioned in the middle of the pack. But the riders ahead of her were incredibly fast and making up ground would be difficult. Lap 2. Sophia continued pushing forward, passing riders wherever she found openings. She moved up to 12th, then 10th, then 8th. Her riding was smooth and calculated, not taking unnecessary risks but capitalizing on every mistake the riders ahead of her made. She is doing it, Marcus said, his voice tense. She is actually moving up final lap. Sophia was in 7th place with 10 riders still ahead of her. The battle for the top 5 was intense, with multiple riders trading positions constantly. Sophia joined this fight, attacking aggressively now that the end was near. With half a lap remaining, disaster struck. The rider directly in front of Sophia crashed in a turn, their bike sliding across the track. Sophia had a split second to react. She swerved hard to the left, barely avoiding the fallen bike, but the maneuver cost her speed and position. She dropped back to 9th place. Tyler's heart sank. After such a strong ride, Sophia was going to finish just outside the top 5 because of someone else's mistake. But Sophia was not giving up. She pushed harder than Tyler had ever seen her push, her bike screaming through the remaining corners. She caught and passed the 8th place rider on a straightaway. Then she dove to the inside of a turn and passed 7th place. The finish line was approaching fast. Sophia was in 7th place, just behind a tight group of 4 riders fighting for positions 3 through 6. If she could get past just one more rider, she would finish in the top 6. A podium finish was out of reach now, but top 6 would still be a strong result. In the final turn, one of the riders ahead made a mistake, running slightly wide. Sophia saw the opening and took it. She squeezed through on the inside, her bike inches from the other riders. They crossed the finish line with Sophia in 6th place. Not the podium finish she wanted, but given the circumstances, it was remarkable. She had started 23rd, survived multiple near crashes, and fought her way to 6th place in one of the most competitive races of her career. The boys ran down to the pit area. Sophia was taking off her helmet, looking frustrated despite her strong finish. 6th place, Jake said. That was amazing. I should have been top 5, Sophia said, disappointed.